I am Geoffrey in the last chapter from the Palatinate of the Rhine campaign. We were left with Johann von Anhalt Jr., who had conquered most of Prussia, had reconquered most of Prussia.
Nothing can stand in my way. We have taken these lands by force.
And that had ended our campaign in the east. In the meantime, in the west, the Imperial Archduchy of Austria has gone back to war with us, and they are besieging Kempten. In addition, they are besieging a small town defended by Johann van Rhein. Karl Ludwig von der Pfalz comes to the aid of the besieged garrison.
No one shall doubt that we are the victors on this day.
And the enemy went and camped on a hill when he was confronted by an overwhelming force. We won this battle. It was an easy victory. The enemy suffered heavy casualties, lost the entire army. The Austrian Prince Maximilian von Habsburg has been besieging Kempten. Jan van Rhein comes to the relief of the besieged garrison. We have again superiority in numbers and strength. Here's the reinforcements by Johann van Rhein, and more reinforcements by Captain Karl Ludwig. And the first thing that happens, the enemy general is slain. So our relief force has deployed outside the town. They have formed Spanish-type tertiaries with sometimes dragoons at the front. When the enemy attempts to approach, they are hit by overwhelming fire from our musketeers, from our dragoons, from the garrison here, from the cannon on the walls, and the units that attempt to approach our relief force are decimated. Here are again our men. They are deploying in Spanish-type tertiaries. Our enemy is approaching from the right. Here are some enemy musketeers, and our own musketeers much more organized. Also backed up by pike. And here's our general behind one of the Spanish-type tertiaries.
No one shall doubt that we are the victors on this day.
It was another victory, and Kempten is now safe. Some units killed as many as 500 of the enemy or more. And here's Biel, is the last stand of the Catholic League. They have 6 armies here, including the garrison, at least for the time being. We're approaching, bringing in men in rivercraft. We also have some men in a fort. Our spy is spying on the enemy armies. And here are some of the enemy armies. They have a strong force of late musketeers, late cavalry, some grenadiers. And all kinds of pikemen, musketeers of all sorts. Christian von Anhalt and Otwin the Mighty are 2 best generals on the case of the Catholic League. First they attack a single enemy captain, Captain Peter, with 3,000 men. He is outnumbered. We attack him at night to avoid reinforcements supporting him. Our musketeers and artillery are harassing the enemy from afar as our swordsmen and the lifeguard of the Protestant Emperor have engaged the enemy as forlorn hopes. Here is the lifeguard of the Protestant Emperor in melee with some enemy pikemen, some late pikemen. And here more enemy pikemen are coming to engage our swordsmen. And our enemy is being bombarded by our artillery. Some of our pikemen are coming to the aid of our swordsmen, and the enemy is routed. Their captain has fallen, and victory is ours with relatively light casualties. We captured also quite a few prisoners, and next Christian von Anhalt and Otwin the Mighty go to battle against another enemy army. This army is commanded by Captain Sigmund. We camp on the hill and harass the enemy with musket fire from the top of the hill. Christian von Anhalt has brought an excellent army with artillery, with dragoons, with strong pikemen, and some secret weaponry. So there are some flamethrowers. Otwin the Mighty is coming to our aid. The artillery is belching out fire, and our enemy is shattered. The enemy captain, Captain Sigmund, has been slain, and the enemy has been crushed with very minimal casualties once again. We have taken again very many prisoners who are not ransomed. Christian the Merciless is now nocturnal, and yet another battle against this time Captain Wilhelm. The enemy has good cavalry and some artillery, but we have clear superiority. Johann von Anhalt and Otwin the Mighty, together with their Hussite wagons and the rest of the army deployed in the Dutch formation. Looking very glorious. The enemy is in a disadvantaged position. Here's the situation with the various armies. That army, I think, was defeated, but there were more battles ahead this time. Also, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth asked for a ceasefire. Having asked for a ceasefire, then we counter-offered something else. They were annoyed, so we let them be. Here is again our army, and the battle begins. The enemy approaches. From a relatively disadvantaged position. They're under fire from all sides. They first approach with their cavalry. And counter-charge with some cavalry. We routed them. Here a small unit of cavalry still remaining. They are being scared off. Other cavalry in the distance has stopped charging. They are firing from the distance. Here they are being decimated.
half his army. The enemy of the Reich lays dead at our feet.
Our enemies in disarray, their general has been slain. And here's our glorious army deployed. Spanish tertius, our artillery is firing at the enemy. The enemy moves forward reluctantly in small groups of men who are being murdered by our artillery fire and our musket fire. On the left, some enemy swordsmen are approaching our dragoons, and the flame throwing crew is on their case. And that's the end of that unit. Our flame throwers are going back to their position of that tertium in the center.
The enemy, behold! Thank the Lord! Our men has slain the enemy general.
And the enemy captain, Captain Eberhard, has been slain. The enemy only has a few units left.
Behold how our cowardly foe runs. It is time to press the attack.
And our general Johann von Anhalt is collecting prisoners.
The Reich shows its obvious superiority through victory.
An easy victory. We only lost 64 men. The enemy army was destroyed. And this is the situation now around Biel. Our two generals are just outside the town, having invested Biel, and they attack von Santes, one of the enemy generals. The enemy certainly has good units, but so do we. Christian von Anhalt has some excellent artillery with him. So Ulrich von Santes is defending Biel along with another general in the garrison of Biel. We attack them just outside Biel. As soon as the battle begins, one of the enemy generals is slain, and the second general. Our men have been deployed again in Spanish tertius to counter the enemy cavalry. Our artillery is harassing the enemy. Mortar fire lands among their swordsmen. Our musketeers harass the approaching enemy. Our enemy is advancing, but does so very slowly, and our strategy of delaying our enemies working. They are being murdered by our artillery. Here are again our Strasbourg organs. We also have some Poseidon wagons, mortar fires destroying the enemy. Some enemy cavalry is harassing our musketeers. The alchemists of Mainz are close by and they scare them off. Our general goes in position to attack their flank, and there he is, taking many prisoners. The rest of the enemy cavalry is harassed by mortar fire. Our lines look glorious, our men are displaying their discipline.
This battle progresses well for the Empire. Stay strong. The enemy will be defeated.
The alchemists of Mainz are once again upsetting the enemy plans here, turning back some enemy pikemen. So our enemy has been routed. We are chasing off the enemy cavalry. The enemy musketeers are hard pressed here, and they are also being routed.
Only half the enemy force remains.
That many.
Enemy of the Rhine lays dead at our
Our
feet.
cavalry is collecting prisoners.
Behold how our cowardly foe runs. It's time to press the attack.
And so that was another glorious victory. The enemy general Ulrich von Xantes has been slain. The enemy has been routed, and almost certainly now Biel is ours.
No one shall doubt that we are the victors on this day.
So victory, and that was the last battle of the campaign. We lost under 100 men. The enemy was crushed. That was the last stand of the Catholic League. Christian for Anhalt is now Christian the Merciless for his many victories. And our two generals are about to march into Biel.
We have crushed them, Kaiser. Ja, Kaiser. They are doomed now. Concealing our forces.
And the enemy is no more. The Catholic League is no more. Finally, they have been destroyed. The Reformed Church has triumphed. So the Catholic League has been destroyed as a faction. Their army is scattered. They are dead as strewn over the land. And Christian von Anhalt now is Christian the Lord of Terror. Biel is ours. Only rebels have been left, Catholic rebels. Here's the Empire on the lower left minimap. The German Empire. And our great king, the Emperor, the German Emperor Friedrich II, the Winter King. In the winter, the Count Palatinate of the Rhine. And victory at last. It has been a long campaign, 261 turns, over 20 years. We have changed the course of history. Victory to the Protestants. A German Kaiser at last. Here's again our faction in black and the minimap on the lower left. Thank you for watching.